Hello, my name is Rez. I am a professional game programmer. I do electrical engineering as a hobby. This is day 17. The audio got screwed up again. Fortunately, I tested it quite early, but I thought I would just do a voiceover for the actual opening of the door to kind of keep it honest. I don't know. It felt right to do that, and then we'll switch back to the actual bench. So here I get a trimmer pot, which is good. So this is our second one. And I'm really excited about what this means, right? This means we're going to have a bunch of knobs and stuff to tweak. And that's always fun when it comes to audio. So I'm excited to see what this brings. Well, because we had a bunch of audio issues yesterday, even though it's not particularly exciting, it's just a volume control, I thought I would just play this. So we're not going to hear anything here as this light is flashing, but I can turn this up. And it cranks up this siren. I'm not going to go too much higher than that. But we just have our volume control now, which is very cool. So I just wanted to show that. But let's see what we're going to have here for this little potentiometer for day 17. Day 17. Okay. Today we receive a second trimmer. Change the circuit as shown below. It is particularly important to remove the wire between pin 8 and Y, which is ground. Which one's 8? 8. Oh yeah, so this one, this second one here, next to the wire, or not wire, capacitor. This one here. So this guy gets moved. Looks like it's moved over here. We're moving some stuff over here, so I think this is going to be kind of our control board. Or bringing back our 560. Our 15K. Yeah, okay, so let's see. For the first time, the push button and LED are not used, but remain in their position. Let's see. When connected to the power supply, the circuit behaves like the Atari Punk console. That's fun. Legendary noisemaker from the 80s. Originally made up of two 555 timers. I might build this. This might be fun. I've got the timers and everything. Might see if I can find a schematic for that. Second timer. Yeah, that's cool. This symbol's new. Loudspeaker. Oh, so they want us to build the casing. Okay, sure. We can build that too. All right, let's build this thing. Gotta put all this stuff here. Put this here like this, and like that. Okay. So a few things need to change. I've got kind of a pile of little wires over here. Let's pull this one out. Put this one in. There we go. So that's going to be this part here. That's this that we've just hooked up. We want to move this guy. You're kind of wonky, so I'll just use the pliers. Oh, maybe I won't. There we go. Okay, so these guys are going to go over here. They kind of go, I guess, north of these buttons. Let's adjust this ever so slightly. Kind of pull these guys down here. Let's see. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, so we want to double check and make sure that we're not connected to the actual leads, and we're not. We're kind of in between them. Cool. So that's what I want. All right. So from here, okay, these are creating kind of a voltage divider. Yeah. So these potentiometers, as they're being set up here, are creating basically a voltage divider. These two top leads are, what are these things? 10K or whatever? Yeah, I think these are 10K. So these top two leads will be 10K. So if I just, let's see if I can get you in there. There we go. So this is just my ohm meter, right? If I measure these top two, can I get you in there? These are going to be 10K. If I can get in there. There we are. Come on, friend. There we go. That should do it, because they're about 9. So these are 9K, but as I move this around, nothing happens. But if I come down here, and let's see if I can try and get a better hold of this. There we go. It's going to be 9K all the way to the left. If I start turning it to the right, you can watch it go all the way to, in this case, 1 ohm. So, or 10. Was that 10? That was, no, 1. So it's creating this sort of divider. As I turn this, the resistance is going to change. That's what's going on here, which it uses that voltage. It takes that input voltage based on that resistance to set up, to talk to the chip, basically, and say, okay, this is, let's do this. To talk to the chip and say, using that input voltage, it's going to determine, the volume, for example, which is what we did last week. Where do I want to put this? Let's put this here, and then this is going to come down. Oh, that's not going to work. That's fine. We'll just kind of put it in between here. This is okay. I might tweak this a little bit, but let's see. Okay, I think that's right. We've got, this is going to head down here. This is here. Yeah, that should be correct. Now, how much does this stuff actually change? Okay, it changes significantly. So this one is going to lead to pin 2. Pin 2. And this one is going to lead to pin 3. I don't know if this one's too big or too small. I mean, yeah, this one's a little too small. Here we go. All right, pin 3. There we are. Okay, so I think this whole thing is basically hooked up on this side, right? There's nothing extra going on here. These buttons are still hooked up to the same spot, although they say they're not really being used. Okay, so now let's focus on the op amp and all of this. So this resistor goes away. We're going to use our 15K, and we're going to use our 560. Okay, here's our 15K. Oh, that's interesting. What are you doing? So you're going all the way over here. So I can actually just drag this guy over here like this. I don't have to put a little wire there. I can just do that. I don't need you then. Let's see. So that's going to go here. So if I'm going to do that, then this guy's going to go here like that. Yeah, so that's our 15K. We've got a 560, which needs to go from here to ground. Again, we're creating a little kind of voltage divider thing between these two resistors. Is that it? 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. These guys are set up. Okay, I think that might be it, because you're doing that, so I don't need this wire. Okay, I think we're set up. This is the Atari Punk. Let's see what it does. It's clicking. I don't think it's quite working. That's not really what I expected. Let me take a second and see what's going on. Yep, it was just a silly wiring thing, so I'm off by 1 here. This thing wasn't actually connecting to ground, so it wasn't creating actual voltage divider. There we go. So it's just keeping this the whole time, but if I drop it down here, now we get some Atari Punk. Yes. Feels digital. Da-na-na, like it's making actual notes. Super interesting. I love it. That's more of my my era, so that's very cool. Yeah, I love that. That's awesome. So it's creating a very noisy, super noisy signal, but it's a really fun little signal. Again, my goth industrial roots love that kind of stuff. And here's the oscilloscope. We can see what it looks like on the oscilloscope. So if I crank this up, here's my waveform. And if I tweak this, we're just changing the frequency of this kind of square wave. It is. This is tweaking it even more. It is digital in some way, right? It's tweaking it, pop. Very cool. You can see the actual, like, when it hits the new note. And there we go. That is what we have for day 17. Very cool. I'm excited about it. And for fun, I did create this. There's a second one here, which has this for some other piece. I don't know if this is meant to be the back of it or something. This would just create the exact same box. But I just created this little box. It was, it was exactly this, except that there's hole cutouts. So just had this gluing area. I just used some glue, glued them together. This is several hours after recording because the glue needed to set. But that's it. It does change the output. Actually, let me hook this back up again. It does change the output. It's going to be quite loud. So there we go. And as soon as I put it in here, now of course because it's vibrating, it has to make contact with this thing, and then the whole thing vibrates, and that's basically it. So it's just why when you have a speaker like this, it's mounted usually in some kind of cabinet or some kind of thing that's going to resonate. So there we go. That's it, day 17. I'll see you all tomorrow.